Hi YouTube, hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. It feels like ages, since I last came on and made a video. And honestly guys, I've just been feeling a bit, life has just been lifing. Anyway, I heard about Sinners on TikTok, saw the trailer, and I was like, I'm going to see it. I have to see it. My sister-in-law, because, from the trailer, you can tell it's a horror movie. And my sister-in-law is also into horror movies. I reached out to her. She was game. We booked our tickets, so we are on our way. So I think I will talk about it. I do hope I pay attention and I listen to everything during the movie. Sometimes I tend to not hear everything or miss some clips here and there. But yeah, I do intend to talk about Sinners. I have not really enjoyed a lot of... I like horror. I like horror movies. But these days, the horror movies I see on Netflix, nothing to really write home about. I saw Deliverance. It's not horror per se. There were some parts that were scary, yes, but overall, I would not class Deliverance as a horror movie. And I enjoyed it. It was really good. Plus, I am once as soon as you say, oh, this film, if you're a Christian, don't watch it, you're opening up portals, yada, 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 then I have to watch it. I just have to watch it. So I'm on my way to the cinema, meet up with my cousin, and we'll go see Sinners, and then I will come, probably not today, maybe tomorrow. I will tell you all about it. But before then, guys, this weight loss thing is finally doing something. I'm not standing, obviously I'm in my car, so you probably will not see it, but I've got this pair of shorts. It's a 16, and I'm an 18. Well, if you don't know, now you know. And I tried these shorts about a week or 2 weeks ago. This is the size 16 shorts. It would not pass through my thighs. I tried it again this morning, and I could button it up. And I was like, it's something is happening, considering the fact that I'm dieting today. I'm falling off the bandwagon tomorrow. I'm back on the diet again. And, I'm just not consistent. But having said that, what I started doing about a week ago was juicing. So I've got this bottle of juice. I'll be sipping on this as I watch Sinners. And in this, let me see if I can remember. Carrots, pineapple, Granny Smith apples, ginger, lime, lemon, oranges. Have I said pineapple? Celery. It's in here. I got quite a bit. And I got, after I was done juicing this morning, the 2-liter bottle. I got 2 of that. I got a cup and I got this. Just to give you an idea of how much fruits I got. So I have been investing in my inner self, and it's beginning to show because I try to take this on an empty tummy. And I try to take it around 10ish, 11ish. Usually I start my day with either tea or coffee, but I've replaced that with this. Then I have my breakfast maybe an hour later. So I just allow the juice do its thing in my system. Then I have the juice I have my breakfast, which usually, if I'm having toast, it's 2 slices and it's the whole wheat, it's whole wheat is called, isn't it? The brown one. 2 slices, and with avocado. I've taken off butter, so I have avocado. My tea doesn't have any sugar in it anymore. Then I have lunch, and my lunch I have cut down on portion, and I have incorporating a lot of fresh vegetables in my meals. And then no dinner, and I try to be done with eating by 6, 7ish, and that's it. I don't eat anything else. Then carry on the next day. And another thing I have eliminated, well, I don't want to say eliminate, but I have gone without. This is the 5 or day 6 is Diet Coke. Anyone who knows me and knows me really well knows that I can't do without Diet Coke. I just have it with my lunch. I don't drink water, I have Diet Coke. So I haven't had Diet Coke in 5 or 6 days now, which is a big thing. It's a massive thing, And to slip into those, I wish I slipped into it, but there was some tugging here and there. But anyway, who's checking? But to pull up those shorts, those size 16 shorts, and I could button them. It was tight. It was extremely tight. But coming from them not being able to pass my thighs, and I could pull them up, button them, I am impressed. I haven't jumped on the scale. I don't want to jump on the scale. I think whatever figure I see is just going to discourage me. And, so I am just going by what I see in the mirror and how my clothes fit. The leggings I'm wearing black leggings underneath. These also feel a little bit loose. So tell me, guys, this is me. Can you see any difference? Can you? Right. I've got someone waiting for me. I'm off to go watch Sinners, and I will see you after my movie. Bye. Hi guys, so I'm back. I have just seen Sinners, and oh my god, it's a good movie. If you are contemplating watching, I advise you to watch. If you don't mind your horror, go watch it. It's brilliant. I did enjoy it. There has been quite a number of new, 2024, 2025 movies that I've seen, and I've just been like, oh. But this one, this I enjoyed. Spoiler alert. It's a spoiler alert. There will be spoilers. I'm tired, guys, but I'll do my best to just try and summarize the movie as much as this perimenopausal brain can remember. The movie starts off, we see this young man driving in. First of all, it's set in like, I want to say maybe the 1930s-ish, because there's a lot of cotton picking by the blacks, and you can see that that the segregation was still happening. So around that time of maybe just gradually moving out of slavery, but still we still had blacks that were still slaves, or it did take place amongst like black community setting. If I'm not making any sense, please forgive me. I'm so tired. Anyway, movie starts off with this young man. He drives one of these ancient vintage, but cars for that time into a local church, and he's all bloodied. He's holding the top part of a guitar. He seems to be limping a bit. He walks into church, and we see someone who, everyone turns around as soon as he comes in. Everyone turns around, looks at him. They all gasp. And the preacher was like inviting him and asking him to come in, son, come in, and was, encouraging him to put down that guitar, put it down, that look, you're welcome back, but you need to disassociate yourself from worldly things. You need to like say the words and break yourself from, the clutches of evil. And then we see a day earlier, and this same man, he's working in the cotton fields. He's picked some cotton. They just showed him normal family life. The preacher, the preacher of that church is obviously his dad. This man likes his music, and he wants to, like every young man, he wants to set off and find his just do his own thing, which in his case is music, so probably become a musician or something. And he is a younger cousin to Stack and Smoke. Stack and Smoke was played by one person, Michael B. Jordan, which I thought was brilliant, because if you remember, when one person plays several roles, 2 roles or multiple roles in a movie. When they're speaking to themselves, you just see the back of someone else. So definitely, they've brought like what are they called? Is it a stunt double? They've brought someone else, to impersonate the person who is playing double roles. But in this one, Michael B. Jordan was handing himself cigarettes, and it's brilliant. Anyway, I'm off track. His younger cousins to Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan plays the role of Stack and Smoke, and both of them they're up to no good. I think they were gangsters. They worked for a gangster gang or something. Anyway, whatever monies they got from their illegal hustle, they have decided to open up like some sort of club. So they see an old mill, and it's a white man who's selling it. Now, this white man is a member of the KKK clan, and initially they appear to be some sort of trouble, like the white man was trying to, I don't know, trying to be act funny. Everyone was showing guns and threatening one another. Eventually, the white man sells the mill to the 2 cousins, Stack and Smoke, and he gives them his word that they would not be bothered by the KKK clan. So please keep that in mind. So now that they've got this mill, obviously they need people to help them run it, like music, food. We've got what else? I think a security guard, and to attract the locals, the black people there. So after you've finished your day in the cotton field, you can come over here and relax. So he goes about, recruiting people to come work. When I say he, but both of them go about recruiting people to come work for them. But before they started the recruiting, I told you this young man, what's his name again? Oh, the preacher's son. Can I just call him the preacher's son because I've forgotten his name already? The preacher's son meets up with them and says, they all know he's into music. So the twins separate. The preacher's son and one of the twins. Is it Stack? Let me Google. So Smoke is the level-headed yet hot-tempered twin brother, and Stack is a bit laid back, easygoing twin brother. So Stack goes off with preacher's son, while Smoke goes into what town now? Is this Chicago or is it Mississippi? I can't remember now. Anyway, he goes off into some town, and he walks into a supermarket there, speaks to an Asian man, tells the Asian man what his plans are. He needs a sign, he needs this, yada, yada, yada. Asian man's daughter is walking the till. He asks the daughter to go call on her mom. Mom comes. Forgetting his name already. Stack. No, it's not Stack. Smoke. Anyway, the irrational twin, he tells Asian man's wife, this is what we want. She gives him a bill, and then the other twin, the laid back one, that's Stack now. So Smoke is the hot tempered one, isn't it? Stack is the laid back one. Stack is with preacher's son. He recruits one elderly man. I think he's called Delta Slim. Delta Slim is he plays instrumentals. When we were introduced to him, I think he was playing the harmonica, but he's got a drinking problem. Anyway, he's recruited to come and play, the piano for the opening night of this club, that the twin brothers bought the mill for. And on their way, they pass a field. There are some people walking, picking cotton. There's a big guy that they recognize called Cornbread. They also make Cornbread an offer which his wife accepts on his behalf. So Cornbread is recruited, and I think because of his size, he's the bouncer. Then we see Smoke. Smoke now goes back to some remote village, and there's a gravesite there, and he goes with flowers. He's there, he's talking to someone's been buried there. We're not then at that point, we're not sure who, but a lady comes out, a big lady comes out. Annie is her name, and at first I thought I thought that was his mom, but it turns out that Annie is his ex-lover, and they had a child, and the child passed, and that was the grave of the child. So I think he just went to, like, you know how it is when you've lost someone and you go to their gravesite to speak with them. Anyway, Annie is into voodoo and hoodoo and what have you, and she swears that there is a charm that Smoke wears, that is what has been protecting him. You can see that even though they're ex, there seems some kind of chemistry there, because obviously they have sex in her store. She sells all sorts, and then he tells her about this idea of his and begs her to come in, to help him, more or less. She hesitates, but eventually she agrees. So I think they've gotten everyone now that they need. Is there any other person that they recruit? Oh no, we're also introduced to another character, Mary. Mary is when you see her, you don't really see a white woman. You can tell that she's mixed, but obviously her skin is lighter than the rest of them. So initially you think, oh, white woman, but the way she speaks and presents herself, you can tell there's some blackness there. And she has got some dealings with Stack. This is the laid back twin, and we introduced to her. They were not their relationship didn't end well. She's telling him how her mom has passed, and none of them reached out to her. Apparently, when the mom was alive, she played a very important role in Stack and Smoke's life by just being a motherly figure in their lives, and they've passed and no flowers were sent and whatever. You can tell she's still into Stack, but Stack is, I think in his mind, it was a wham bam, thank you my arm kind of a thing, and he's moved on. So we're introduced to Mary, and then we're introduced to another lady called Pearline. Pearline catches the eye of Preacher's son, but she tells Preacher's son that she's married, but then she's also leading him on, the way she walks away, she's shaking her bum, she's all kind of suggestive, talks and poses and whatever. She likes Preacher's son. That's the end of it. So the nighttime comes, everyone comes into this meal. They're all having a good time. I'm just trying to see, I hope I've not forgotten anything. They're all having a good time, and then we then we see a man who is being chased by a mob, and he runs into this house of white people. And when he's like, look, they're after me. They open the door, they let him in. It's a couple, a husband and a wife. They let him in, and the people who were chasing this man come, and they met the couple, like, where is that person we were chasing? Bring him out, he's dangerous. And, they fob them off. But, the lady now then goes to look for her husband after she's fobbed off these people that was chasing.
Hey! Hey!
Oh, he's just resting.
to that white man. This is a totally different scene. Turns, looks at her husband. Her husband is all bloodied, vampire teeth and everything. So we've been introduced to the vampires. So the man who was running is a vampire. The people who were chasing him knew he was, he was a vampire. He ran into this house, he knocked, asked to be let in. They let him in, which is very important to put that in your, remember that, please. They let him in. He bites the man. Obviously the man in turn bites his wife, so we now have three vampires. So the night starts, everyone is having a good time, everyone is drinking and whatever. Preacher's son and Pearline, the lady who claims that she had a husband, go into a room, they do their own thing there. And then Preacher's son comes out, he starts playing a guitar. This guitar was given to him by Stack. Stack told him that this guitar belonged to one famous celebrity. Preacher's son feels so honored to have had this guitar. He couldn't believe that he was holding the guitar of a celebrity. And then, as he's playing as he's singing and playing the guitar, and Delta, that's the drunk man with the harmonica, is playing the piano. All of a sudden, we start to see, I don't know, should I call them spirits? Because we start to see like masquerades, African masquerades. We start to see, this is not a geisha. What do you call? Is it geisha? They are called for the Asian people. Then we start to see, modern times, people, dancing hip hop or whatever, but they are not there. I don't know if we're seeing them through the eyes of the vampire. I think we're seeing them through the eyes of the vampire. I think so, because in reality, those people were not there. Cornbread is the bouncer, and he's by the door, and he's supposed to look out, not let anyone in. Mary comes. Mary is the white lady that I said, at first glance she's white, but soon as she starts talking, that there's some blackness in her, and she's ex to Stack. She comes in. Initially there was a little bit of trouble, but she's just trying to, I think, get to Stack. So she comes in, and then the vampires eventually start making their way to the meal. So Cornbread sees them, and he asks Delta to come to call the twins. Like, look, there might be trouble here. Who are these white people? Because they're all white. And they were like, look, we don't mean any harm. We just, could you let us come in? We've got money to spend. We do believe in equality and inclusive. I can't pronounce it, but you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm too tired. Yeah, I think Smoke is like, he wasn't comfortable, and he sends them off. And they were like, okay, we're going to go, but we're going to walk really slowly. And they walk really, really slowly. And as they are walking away, they are singing. And then we now see Mary. Mary is with Stack, and she's trying to convince Stack that, look, if these people say they've got enough money to spend, why don't we see how we can bring them in, lure them to spend money, do one or two shady deals, and everybody wins, and whatever. With her being white, let her go talk to them. So she goes, she talks to them. As she's talking to them, she realizes something is off. She pulls out a gun, wants to shoot them, and she's like, you know what, I'm just going to go back. But obviously she can't go back. She's gone out there. 3 vampires, they didn't stand a chance. She's been bitten. She comes back into the meal. As she comes back into the meal, because she's come in before, Cornbread easily lets her in. So she goes in, she gets to Stack, she's seducing Stack and everything, manages to lure him into a room, and she's having sex with him. She starts undressing, kissing him, and whatever. She starts to have sex with him. Now, Smoke on the other end needed Stack for something, so he asks Preacher's son, go call my brother. Preacher's son goes into the room, sees that Mary and Stack are having a good time, and he goes and tells Smoke, look, something is going on, I can't interrupt. And Smoke is like, I asked you to call him. He opens the room, he opens the door to the room, and he now sees Mary. She's beaten Stack, and just look, oh. So he shoots her, but vampires don't die. So he shoots her and everything. She lies down, stands up, and before she goes off, she's like, we're going to kill you all, and she runs off. So he rushes to his brother, tries to save him. It's too late. Brother is gone. Annie, who is Smoke's ex-lover or ex-wife, the one into voodoo and hoodoo and all that magical stuff. She's like, what did Mary say before she left? And Preacher's son was like, we're going to kill you all. So she's like, okay, get everybody out. And she's trying to tell Smoke to take his brother's body out. Of course, Smoke is like, no, this is my brother. I'm hanging on to his body. I think obviously denial and shock. So he couldn't accept it there and then. So everyone is let out of the meal. The Asian woman tells her husband that, look, we need to go, and asks the husband to go bring the car. So he also goes out. And this is where everything just starts falling apart. Before then, Cornbread needed to wee. So he tells Delta, the drunken guy with the harmonica, to please guard his post. He needs to wee. He goes to wee. Why did he have to walk how many miles into the bush? Because obviously he got bitten. We could hear his name being called by the vampires and everything, the setting, he gets bitten. So remember now, I think Cornbread makes his way back, and they sent everybody out, and then the Asian lady's husband, he voluntarily goes off to get the car so he can get his wife and go, but he's out. And then Annie instructs everyone to lock the door. Cornbread now comes back in, and I'm sure everyone has seen this clip because that was the first clip I saw for Sinners, and he's like, he wants to come in. So Annie, the voodoo hoodie lady, is like, why are you asking to come in? And he's like, what do you mean? Why am I asking to come in? He wants to come in. She said, no, with your kind of size, you could have forced your way in. So why are you asking to come in? So I just found that quite, profound. Like, you know what? So really, are they trying to tell us now? Obviously, the Bible talks about broken hedges and us allowing the devil to come in with maybe things we say, things we sing, things we confess to, different ways, we can allow the devil and his demons into our lives, not into my life, to Fiakwa. But it, you know what I'm saying, guys. So they keep going back and forth. Why do you want to come in? Now I can come in, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, he's like, okay, all right, okay, if you don't want me to come in, pay me my money. So Smoke reaches into his pocket, brings out some money to pay Cornbread for his services. But I was like, if you've got doubts about Cornbread, why didn't you throw the money on the floor? Because as he reaches out to give him the money, Cornbread grabs his arm and attempts to bite his arm. So he fights him off and then comes in, and then obviously everybody now can see that Cornbread is one of them. So Annie goes in and she tells everyone, look, these are the only way that you can defeat these people. Sunlight, wooden, oh God, what's his name? Like spears made out of wood and garlic. And at that same time, we now hear Stark. Stark is talking now, and he's like, let me out. I think he even takes a knife to the door. Let me out. And they are like, how, of course, Smoke is obviously happy to hear his brother. But the rest are like telling him, that's not your brother, that's not your brother. He's, it's a vampire, it's not your brother. Um, all kinds of confusion going on. And then he called eventually, I think Smoke now accepts that that's not my brother, he's a vampire. He steps out, and then Preacher's son goes to the door, to see for himself what's going on in the room where Stark's body was. And he attacks his face, comes out of the door. As he does so, Annie, the voodoo hoodoo lady, takes garlic juice, throws at him, and that's how he's chased out. So everyone is suspicious of everybody. So Annie gets garlic, and she makes everyone eat garlic. So to find out who is a vampire and who is human. So side note, guys, be walking up and down with garlic in your hands. Anyway, he goes out. They're all singing, they're all chanting. They now find a man they thought was dead on the floor, and they threw him out. And then they go back and they check because it was liquid where this man was lying. They were like, is that blood? They check, it wasn't blood. He was drinking. He got drunk. He passed out. But they thought he was dead, so they threw him out. Poor man wakes up, realizes I'm outside, goes and starts knocking. Please let me in, let me in, let me in. Oh, I really felt for that guy because he wasn't a vampire at that point. But those inside was, you can't blame them, they've already seen too much, and they didn't want to take any chances. And then Cornbread comes and bites him, they witness Cornbread biting him. The Asian lady, the husband, now comes in. Obviously he's a vampire by now, because he looks at Cornbread biting this man. He's not fazed by that. He sees other vampires, he's not fazed by that. And he's telling his wife, I've warmed the car, come, let's go. And she's like, I think she's scared, but at the same time, she's like, this is my husband, it's just an awful position to be in. Then the leader of the vampire came and started explaining how, everything was like strategic, because you remember the man who sold them the meal, the KKK person, apparently the vampire, the house he ran into, the couple's house he ran into, they are also KKK people, so he was able to get them. And then this preacher's son has a gift for music, and he wanted them to start he wanted to initiate preacher's son into becoming a vampire, so he could use his gift of music to lure people. That's the only connection I could make anyway. But the vampire, was like telling them, look, why don't you just come over to this side, you'll be immortal, and yada yada yada. And then tells the Asian lady, we're going to go after your daughter Lisa. She hears that, she's not having it. And she wanted to go out, they grab her in, shut the door, and then she now starts attempting to like invite them. You have to actually give them permission to come in, but at that point I was like, I've watched a lot of vampire movies growing up, I don't know if they sought your permission. I thought they just see you, they know you're not a vampire, and they bite your neck and you become a vampire. Like, these are some kind polite Oyibo vampires. So I don't know if our African vampires are this way. I really don't know. And eventually she screams like, come in. So they're like, oh God, she invited them because she's just the thought of her daughter being attacked already. She's lost her husband, and then she's thinking about her daughter because they've said, look, we're going to get your daughter. And this is so true. How the devil just messes with your mind. First of all, they come in as familiar spirits because her husband, came in as somebody that she obviously knows, this is my husband. And then they start messing with your head. We're going to get your daughter. We're going to do this, yada, yada, yada. And before you know it, your guards are let down. And before you know it, they do whatever they want to do. So I thought that was quite interesting. And then this fight started. The vampires came in. But before then, Annie, the hoodoo voodoo lady, told Smoke, please, if I ever get bitten, just, kill me. Like, take one of those wooden stuff to the heart, and that's one way to kill them. So they come in, they fight, they fight, they fight. Annie unfortunately gets bitten, and she asks Smoke to, stab her in the heart. He doesn't want to. She's like, you promise. He does so. He stabs her. Then at that point, Mary, the white but not white vampire lady, she sees that, and she goes out, she leaves, like as if Annie's death touches her in some manner. I was like, but aren't you a vampire? Why are you touched by this? So let's hold that thought. And then Smoke and Stark start fighting themselves. However, those people managed to make that effect, because it's the one person, that's Michael B. Jordan playing Smoke and Stark. So he was fighting no one, yet fighting himself. However they did it, I really don't know. Whilst Preacher's son jumps out from a window, jumps into a river. Obviously, the vampire came after him. They're struggling, they're tossing. He's saying the Lord's Prayer. Vampire is reciting the Lord's Prayer, after him as well. And we see Smoke about to stab his brother, but we didn't really see him stab his brother. The next thing, we see him stab the vampire. He stabs the vampire, and at the same time, sunrise, no. Before he stabs the vampire, remember, Preacher's son has this guitar that Stark gave him and lied to him that it belonged to one celebrity. It didn't. It belonged to their father, who I think Smoke killed because their father was abusive. So he reaches for the guitar. The guitar is when the vampire is fighting Preacher's son. Preacher's son reaches for the guitar. He's in the river by now, and he smashes it into his head. So the metallic part of the guitar, is inside the vampire's head. And as that gets into his head, it's affecting other vampires because he's their leader. So you can see them dying slowly. Then Smoke comes, stabs him in the heart, and then sunrise, and then everyone, starts dying off. And Smoke now, tells him to go, wishes him well, which that's his Preacher's son. They are the only two left. Preacher's son and Smoke, they are the only two left. Every other person dies. So Preacher's son gets into his car he still has the handle of the guitar left, and he said he's going to stay, that he has unfinished business to do. So we see his Preacher's son drive to his father's church. Remember, that is how the movie began. And he drives in, and the father obviously is telling him to drop it off and everything. But I'm telling you, when he got into the car and he started driving, if you're Nigerian, you will know this saying I'm about to say. Waiting my eye don't see, my mouth don't fit talk am. That is the look Preacher's son has. Like, who do I even tell that this is what happened, to me the night before? We go back to Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan has his, gets something like a coffin and opens it up. There's guns and all sorts. And, I was wondering what's going on. Then we see the white man, the KKK guy who sold him the meal. He comes with a lot of his KKK people. They come to take back the meal. So they've sold the meal to this black man. They've taken his money, gave him his word that nobody is going to harass him. Yet he comes back with his people. So they try to open up the door. It's not opening. They were like, that's strange. No, it should be open. And then Michael B. Jordan, like he knew, this is Smoke now. Calling him Michael B. Jordan. This is Smoke now. Smoke starts shooting at them. He shoots at them, kills everyone. One of the people there manages to shoot Smoke, but in the stomach. He looks at it. I think at this point he's like, "Look, I've lost everything. I've lost my brother. I've lost my Annie. I've lost my baby. I've obviously lost my business. I've lost my money." So the gun wound doesn't phase him. He shoots this white man, but before he shoots, because the white man is still crawling, he's not dead yet. But before he shoots him, he's like, the white man is like, um, he asks the white man, "Have you got a cigarette?" The white man gives him a cigarette. He's about to smoke it. And then he sees Annie. Annie is breastfeeding a child. And that's when I knew Michael B. Jordan is going to go. Because, when people are dying, they now start to see their loved ones waiting for them at the other end. And she's all dressed in white. Her baby is dressed in white. And she's like, don't smoke that thing over here as in close to my son, because she's breastfeeding the son. And he shoots the guy. We don't see Michael B. Jordan crossover die, but just that scene, we know he's obviously going to go, because she hands him the baby. He looks at the baby, caresses his baby, and tells the baby, "I'm here now." So obviously he dies. Then we see Smoke. Smoke has aged. He's really aged, still into his music and all. I think he should be like in his 70s or so. He had his face disfigured. There's some marks by his face. We had his face disfigured. He's sitting down. He's just finished playing. He's sitting down by a bar. He's having whiskey. And someone walks up to him. I think the bartender walks up to him, and he's like, "Oh, there's some people that want to come in. Can I let them in?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, let them in." I'm like, "Oh God, haven't you learnt anything? Why don't you ask who they are?" So who walks in? It is Stark and Mary. Mary, the white, not so white lady. Stark, Smoke's brother. Vampires don't die, so they are still their young, youthful selves. He looks at them, but he's not phased. Like, I don't think he's seen Look, he has seen everything, so I don't think anything phases him at this point. They come, they sniff him, not much is left in him. And they were like, look, he asked them, how did you survive? And Stark told him that Smoke did not kill me, and we actually didn't see Smoke stab his brother. He just couldn't do it. But Smoke made him promise that he wasn't going to come after him. They still try to convince him, like, look, you can still become one of us even though you're old and dried up. But my preacher's son is like, no, no, thanks, but no thanks. I think I would just wait for my time to come, and then I would just die naturally. Like, anyway, what what use will I be, old vampire, living, forever and ever? And that was it. That was it. It was thought provoking. It's one that you would need to. Well, I would need to watch again, because I don't know. I've probably missed some, words that were said, some meanings or whatever. But for those of us who are Christians or even Muslims and believe in a higher being, it just makes you want to take your religious and spiritual life seriously. So I will definitely watch what I say. I will. These days, I just keep telling God, please, whatever it is I have uttered in the past concerning my life, and it's affecting me negatively, I reverse it in Jesus' name. I have seen on TikTok where people are taking off mats that has the welcome signs in front of the house that says the welcome sign. Whatever you have to do to protect yourself, whatever you believe in, whatever it is that you have to do to protect yourself, because I'm telling you, these demons, they do not come alone. They come with their minions. They come with stronger demons, and you have to be really, 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 really grounded in your faith to fight them off. So yeah, that's it. If you've managed to stay to the end of this video, I appreciate you. I really do, because I don't know if I've made any sense. I've only just come back and I was like, if I don't say get it out now, I'm going to forget a lot of things. So I'm going to wash my face and I'm going to bed. I thank you all if you stay to the end of the video. Please thumbs up the video, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you all in my next video. And let me know if you'll be watching Sinners and if there was anything that you got out of it that I have missed in this one. And I'll see you all in my next video, right? It's super long, but thank you for sticking with me. Take care. Bye. Good night.